Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be looking at 5 players that you should be looking to buy in your FPL teams for game week 3. We saw Saka go off injured, we saw Palmer struggle with an injury in the warm-up. So if we're going to need to sell these players, we're going to have to be looking at which players to buy. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first player we're going to look at is Ismaila Sarr from Crystal Palace. Now, he did score a goal at the weekend in Palace's game against Nottingham Forest, and we know that he plays in one of those 2 slots behind Mateta or behind the striker. Now, Eze has obviously left now, gone to Arsenal, which makes Sarr, if he wasn't already, just completely nailed in that position. Now, it does potentially make him a little bit worse in that Eze was just better for that team. Eze used to create a lot of chances for that team. However, we did see quite a lot of early subs from Sarr last season. I think we'll see less of that now because Eze isn't there to stay on. Sarr will be kind of the main player in that role behind Mateta. But the main thing that I really like about Sarr is the fixtures. You can see at the bottom there, Aston Villa away. Aston Villa have been pretty useless this season so far, especially defensively. I mean, they lost 1-0 against Brentford at the weekend. Brentford looked really bad in game week 1. So I didn't really expect that result. I thought that Aston Villa didn't look great in game week 1, but Brentford looked really bad. So I thought Aston Villa would potentially kind of get a result in that game. We didn't see that at all. So I like that fixture. Sunderland at home is obviously a really good fixture. They were good in game week 1, but that was more West Ham being bad, I think, than Sunderland being good. So that's an unbelievable fixture. West Ham away is one of the better fixtures you can get at the moment. I mean, West Ham at home would be better, but West Ham in general is a lovely fixture. Liverpool not so much, but then Everton as well. Everton haven't looked great this season at all. So 4 out of 5 of those fixtures are really, really good. Like I say, Sarr's numbers aren't incredible. I mean, he's had 1 shot in 2 games, which is pretty poor. He did score from that shot, of course, but it's not great. I think that it's mainly been because Palace, going forward, haven't looked their normal self yet. I think they will take a few games to get into it, but I think at 6.5 million, Sarr will play more minutes now, I believe. So I think that just makes him a really nice option. Like I say, the fixtures are great, and I think we can start taking a little bit of money out of that midfield spot. We've got Salah, who's obviously great. Apart from that, Saka looks like he's now out for a few weeks. Palmer, we don't really know the extent of the injury yet at the time of recording, but it doesn't seem great. So I think we can move down to a couple of these cheaper guys potentially, and Sarr could be one of them who's got nice fixtures. Okay, now the second player we're looking at is Mohamed Kudus from Spurs. Now he has had a pretty good start to his Spurs career. He was very popular when the game launched and everybody put him in their team at 6.5 million, which is quite a reasonable price. Then he did lose a bit of the kind of heat around him, but he started the season very well. He almost seems like he's going to be used as a kind of Mbeumo type player for Thomas Frank, where when they're playing a 5 at the back, he can be up front with whether it be Richarlison or Solanke. If they're playing a 4 at the back, then he can kind of be the right winger. So I think he can be used in a couple of different ways. He got 2 assists in game week 1, and he kind of put those on a plate for Richarlison. Richarlison's finishes were great, don't get me wrong, but what he created was absolutely brilliant. Again, the numbers aren't incredible by any means. 2 shots, 2 assists, 1 shot in the box, XG of barely anything. But I think it's more how encouraging his minutes have been. He's come off around the 85th minute mark in both games, which is more than I expected him to get. I thought he'd get some early subs and potentially not start every single game. Now, this could be a case of Spurs having quite a lot of injuries, obviously. Solanke wasn't fit to start the season, really. Maddison's obviously injured. Kulusevski's injured. They have got quite a few players out. And they are looking to buy players as well, like they've been linked with Savinho, of course. So it will be interesting to see who Spurs buy, but Kudus does look like someone who is just going to be trusted by Frank and will get good minutes. Another thing is obviously now that City fixture is out of the way, Spurs fixtures are brilliant. Got Bournemouth at home, who going forward are great, defensively not so much. West Ham, obviously a great fixture. Brighton don't look their best at the moment. Then Wolves and Leeds. The next 5 fixtures are fantastic. That's why we've got Porro in our teams. That's why we've got a Van de Ven in our teams. And I think we can now feel pretty safe that Kudus is also a good option. Okay, the third player we are looking at is Morgan Rogers. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video when we were talking about Sarr that Aston Villa have looked pretty bad so far this season, and they really have. I mean, if you've owned Watkins, if you've owned Rogers, then it hasn't been a great time for you, as you can see here. 0 big chances created. So, unlike the first 2 players we looked at, Sarr has already scored, Kudus has got 2 assists. This is someone in Morgan Rogers who hasn't started well particularly, and his team haven't started well either. However, the fixtures are really nice. Crystal Palace at home is okay. Their defence actually looks a little bit solid at the moment. Everton away, Sunderland away, Fulham at home, Burnley at home. That is a lovely stretch of 4 fixtures. None of those defences look solid in any shape or form. So if there were fixtures for Aston Villa to kind of get their season going a little bit, then those are the fixtures that will happen in. And if Aston Villa do manage to make something work, then it'll be Rodgers and it'll be Watkins that are at the heart of it. We know what Rodgers is capable of. We saw it last season. I still think he's pretty cheap at 7 million. Yes, that's more than he was last season, but I still think that's pretty good value, especially when he's got these fixtures. We know he's absolutely nailed. There has been links. I'm not sure how strong the links are, but it has been links with Spurs, given that they missed out on Eze. But I'm not convinced that much materialises out of that, to be honest. So, yeah, like I say, the numbers really aren't good. He's had 2 shots, no goals, no assists. The XG and XA numbers are pretty rough as well. But if there were ever fixtures for him and Aston Villa to sort this out, then it's those fixtures. So I just think he might be worth a gamble, given that we're actually struggling for other midfielders right now. If we're going to have to sell Palmer, we're selling Saka. Bruno Fernandes hasn't been the best after missing his penalty. There's quite a lot of more expensive midfielders that aren't really doing it at the moment. So maybe we can take a punt on someone like Morgan Rogers. Okay, moving on to a different position now, and it's a forward in Victor Gyökeres now. He scored 2 goals at the weekend, one of which was a penalty. Obviously, Saka wasn't on the pitch when he took the penalty, but there was reports before that game that he would take penalties over from Saka. So he took his penalty really well as well, so that is kind of something to note. His numbers are a bit better than the other players we've looked at. 2 goals, obviously, 3 shots, 2 shots on target, 3 shots in the box. The XG is a bit inflated because of the penalty. The penalty would have been about 0.8 or 0.78 of that, so can't really look too much into that. Big chances too. I mean, the only problem with Gyökeres here is that the fixtures aren't great. Liverpool away next isn't the best. Forest, City, Newcastle, those 4 really aren't that great. All 4 do have pretty good defences and have shown that this season already. So I'm not sure we really need to go there right now. We don't need to go there that quickly, especially if you've got someone like Watkins who's got better fixtures right now. I just wouldn't bother making that switch, to be honest. But I do think he'll be a very good option going forward. 9 million, when they've got good fixtures, if he is on penalties, I mean, he's got good minutes now as well, now that Havertz is injured. We won't see him coming off around 60, I don't think, just because the other options are only someone like Trossard or Marino, whereas Havertz was a genuinely good other option. I just think he could represent really good value at 9 million if he's going to be on penalties, if he's going to be playing somewhere close to 90 minutes. I mean, he could have come off much earlier in that game, given that Arsenal had won it, but he stayed on. So I do think we'll see very good minutes from him, and when the fixtures get better, which is around that West Ham game in Gameweek 7, then he is someone we can definitely be looking at. Okay, now the last player we're looking at is a defender. It's Daniel Muñoz. We know what he can do from last season. Most people at some point last season did own him, and he obviously did very well for us. We know that. Attacking wise, he's absolutely fantastic. and he obviously got his assist at the weekend for Sarr's goal. He created a big chance, obviously. So he's doing everything that we know he does from last season. And I don't really think anything's changed in that he's still going to get us a lot of assists. He's still going to even score goals. He scored a few goals last season. You can see there he's had a shot in the box already this season. So I'm just not sure that anything's particularly changed from last year. Palace defence actually looks pretty solid. I mean, they've only conceded 1 goal this season. There's only been 2 games, obviously. But in Europe as well, they didn't concede. So I think we are going to see quite a solid defence. And you do usually see that when it's 5 at the back, if you ignore a team like West Ham anyway. But yeah, I think we'll see a good defence from Palace. I also think that with Eze gone, they're going to need to create from other areas, whether that be the wing-backs. I mean, the wing-backs are pretty creative anyway, but we could see more creativity from the wing-backs now. I think that everything going on at Palace at the moment just doesn't really affect Muñoz in a bad way. So I think if you are looking for a defender, now that Palace have got that Chelsea fixture and even the Forest fixture, which wasn't great, out of the way, they do have much better fixtures, as we mentioned earlier. Villa away, Sunderland, West Ham, Liverpool isn't the best, and then Everton. 4 out of 5 of those fixtures are really nice. So if you're looking for a defender around that price, I think that Muñoz is the one to go for. That's all for this one. If you did like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.